Squatting, you think of pooping.
But you have Adidas with Nike.
I know, I'm wearing Adidas. I know!
You know, I just want to see those pearly whites.
First of all, let me show you guys. Look at that.
What's up, Shoreline City Youth? We love you so much. My name's Lexie, and we're doing a podcast today. I don't know if you can tell, I have a little bitty studio looking thing up in here. And we're excited for today. We're going to be talking about Fire Week 2, our series, and it is called, y'all are ready for this. Can I just be honest with you really quick just about this title? Okay, you probably see it already on the video. All right, squat up. That's at least what I picture when I think of someone saying squat up. They're like beating their chest. Squat up, you know, come on. Yeah, I know. Anyways, I'm old. But anyways, we asked our youth, you know, what do you want? What would you call this this podcast? And they said squat up. And I just, every time I want to say it, I laugh. And it's not because I don't love you and I think you're not cool. It's just funny. Squad is a funny word. Say it slowly, like squad. Squad. Like you're squatting. That's how awkward is that? I mean, when you think of squatting, you think of pooping. Like, anyways, squat up today. All right, we're talking about community. All right, we're talking about unity and how godly community is super vital. Okay, we want you to be in community with everybody in your school, everybody in your life, your family, your friends, your neighbors, everybody. But we also want to talk about how vital it is to have godly community. And let us tell you, if you don't have that community yet, by the end of this podcast, you're gonna have laughed your head off, but also finally understood why it is so important to have this community. So stay tuned, okay?
Okay, Janelle, your experience in high school is a little bit different. So you actually didn't grow up a Christian, which is super cool that we get your perspective because we all have friends that aren't Christians. I have friends in my life, but you still had a really solid community. So her family was super community oriented. So I would love to know what you would say to those who have that same experience. Maybe they're like, oh, I'm good. I've got friends, I've got community, but they may not have that godly community. What would you say to them?
When you have good friends, good family behind you, like that is invaluable. Of course, you cherish that, you love that, but knowing that our Father in heaven is the one that we really are meant to follow after. Know that if your faith is in him, your family may not be going with you, your friends may not be going with you, but if your faith is in him, he's not going to leave you, he's not going to forsake you. People are just not as reliable as we think, and it is possible to have very healthy community and people who really love you and really care for you and they're for you, but they're just not as reliable. Things happen. People get sick. People are not able to just come through the way that you expect them to. They're going to let you down. That's a part of life. But I do know that God is not going to ever let you down. It's not in his nature. He's perfect. He's kind. He's loving. He's going to challenge you. Yes, there's going to be things that are really hard, but if your foundation is strong in your relationship with God, that trust is so undeniable. There's nothing that can take you out.
That is so good. That is so good. And what I love about your perspective, Janelle, what we're saying is we want you to have a community, yes, but also a godly community, because when you have a godly community, they're going to remind you that when they don't show up, God will show up for you. So who are those people that are telling you what Janelle is telling you? Because Janelle is in our community right now, and she's able to say, hey, when I fail you, God will not fail you, which is another reason we should be devoted to Christian and godly community and to have that unity with them, because that's so true. Thank you for your perspective. That was so good.
Okay. Jono!
What's
Come on
up?
over here.
Hi,
Hey,
everyone.
what you doing?
I'm just chilling.
Let's interview
Hey.
you real quick. Also,
All right.
can you show the camera his shoes? Those are sick. What are those called?
These are speed chunky junkies.
Okay, so
You have some Air Maxes on. 90s.
yeah.
Those
Look,
are really dope.
the thing is though,
But you have
wearing-
Adidas with Nike.
I know I'm wearing Adidas. I know, but I wanted Nike pants. Okay, all these are Nike pants. Jono introduced me to the sneakers app. Okay, so now I've got the sneakers app, the app.
Yeah,
app.
expensive app.
The expensive app.
Really
I have yet
expensive.
to buy any shoes, and I probably won't.
But
it's,
when you do, it is a kick. It's amazing.
Don't get our kids addicted to buying sneakers.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we are talking about unity and community because we're talking to our high schoolers and our middle schoolers. What is your experience? What was your community like in high school?
In high school, I was involved in like a ton of things. So I played football, I ran cross country, I ran track. I was involved in like student council. I did a Bible study at my high school. No, but I mean, I was super involved, and I had community. But now actually looking back, like a lot of people knew me, but I actually didn't let people into like who I was. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So like everyone was like, oh hey, that's Jono. But like there would be times where I would go home and I'd be like lonely because I knew everyone, but not everyone like knew me on a personal level.
Okay, why was that?
I didn't open up, honestly.
Wow.
I didn't open up. I didn't like let people in. I had a lot of walls up. I thought people wanted to be my friend because I was involved in like X, Y, and Z, and I thought people wanted to be my friend for, you know, a ton of other reasons.
I think that if you were really good friends with like had a tight youth group,
Yeah.
that would have helped change that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I needed guys that was following Jesus like me, that went to church, but we could also talk about real life stuff,
Right.
you know?
So you had community, but you probably didn't really have the unity.
Yeah, 100%. I now don't really talk to anyone in high school because I didn't have that unity. But I bet if I had that unity in my community or like a group of guys or like a youth group, I bet I would have still stayed in touch.
So speaking straight to our youth,
Okay?
okay, because they obviously,
Youth.
we have a community, we have this here, but sometimes it's hard because we don't see each other every single day.
Yeah, that's true.
What would you say to them?
No one is as busy as they are trying to make themselves be.
Oh.
I promise you. So reach out. Reach out.
Whoa.
I was the guy in high school where I was like, woe is me. Why is no one reaching out to me? Why is no one
That's
talking
real.
to me?
That's real.
But honestly, I should have just been like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, what's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah,
Hey, you want to
yeah,
jump on a FaceTime?
Yeah.
Hey, you want to play COD online? Like, hey, what's going on? If you start to think about someone, like maybe recognize that may be the Holy Spirit putting someone on your heart and being like, hey, I should reach out to them.
Okay,
And
squad up.
And it's crazy.
Squad up.
It's crazy. Like 30 seconds,
Yeah.
like a text message, a simple, hey, hope you're doing well, thinking about you, praying for you, love you. I mean, I could type that in my sleep.
So good. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Jono. You're the
Yeah.
best.
Hey, Crystal!
Hey, Lexie.
You have a unique perspective because you grew up in the church
Yes.
and you were basically a church kid, a PK, but you also had this community outside of that as well. And so you had to navigate that tension of like, okay, so will you speak to that just a little bit?
Yeah, totally. I think the first thing that comes to mind is that although I had two different, I guess we could call them friend groups, I was still the same person. You know, some of my friends didn't know Jesus, and my job was to love them and to be like Jesus. And then the friends that like loved Jesus and knew Jesus, their jobs and my job was to help us love Jesus even more.
But what about our friends who are facing that tension? Did you ever face that tension and have to decide, oh, I can't fall into what these people are wanting me to do?
Everybody faces that tension. I don't think I know anybody who's like, this is who I am every single day. I think you know in your heart who you are, but sometimes from your heart to your head, there's a disconnect. And so there's one thing to have an intention, but there's another thing to live out an action. Like I was friends with the theater kids. I was friends with the athletes. I was friends with the jocks, like the nerds, like all of them. And it was because I was just myself. And like looking back, I was the cool kid. Like I was the cool kid because I knew that I had a seat at Jesus' table. I didn't have to worry about which lunch table I was at because I was able to go to friend group to friend group to friend group. I got invited to all the things. And then there were some seasons that I didn't get invited to anything, but it was just because I could stay in my identity because I knew that I was still invited to Jesus's table and to his friendship.
That was so good. You're my squad. You're in my squad. I'm in your squad. We squad up, okay? What's up, Mudo?
What's going on? What's going on, Lex?
Hey, quick question. Can
Yeah.
you just zoom in real quick for us on your teeth? You know, I just want to see those pearly whites.
First of all, let me show you guys. Look at that. I'm singing the song, and there's a part where I go like, yeah. And so I lean my head back.
No.
And when I come back, my microphone like hits my tooth really bad.
No.
And like I'm in the middle of singing when this is happening, like leading the song.
Did you know immediately that it happened?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I felt that. I was like, yep, that just happened. And I felt like the little piece of my tooth in my mouth.
No!
The part that
While
took
you're
off
singing?
while I'm singing. And so if you watch the video back or whatever, I did a few times, there was like a 3-second spot where I stopped singing because I was like, oh my gosh, that just happened.
Oh.
And I threw the chipped part on the ground and just kept going. But yeah, it was all bad, man.
Okay, question for you. We're talking
Okay.
to our youth about community, and we wanted to ask you your experience in high school, just about what your community was like.
My community in high school was mainly people from my youth group in my church.
Oh,
So yeah. So
That's
I had kind of like two communities. I had my youth group, people I grew up with in church, and then I had my school community, and they never really mixed together. Like they never really crossed paths.
gotcha. Okay, so what was that like for you? Like, where did you see the differences in those two communities?
The church community kind of helped me grow, where my football school community took away from me. And so it was a balance that I had to kind of navigate through, because when I was around my church people, like I was growing, I was being sharpened. And then when I was around my football or school community, I felt like there was only a few of us, or even I was the only one that, was trying to live for Jesus, but no one else was. And so I felt like I was they were tugging on me more, and there was really no growth in that sense of community.
Gotcha.
And so I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, because I was getting like poured into from one community, and I was pouring out on another community. And so maybe God just strategically had those communities, one for me to get sharpened and one for me to pour out. Unity is a really big thing, like in sports, right? Especially when you get higher to like college and professional, like unity is really, really big. And beyond being really talented, beyond being really good at football, unity is preached really big on football teams, right? They want you to spend time with each other outside of football. They want you to be really close friends. They want you going to the movies with your teammates. They want you bonding with your teammates, because that unity that you get off the field, that unity, that camaraderie that you build off the field translates when you're on the field. People had their own agenda. So many people were selfish. So many people didn't want to sacrifice. Like they were all in it for me. I want the ball. I want to score. I don't have to hang out with y'all outside of football. I'm just going to do me. Right. And so when that disunity is there, when that lack of connection is there, it shows up on the football team. When you guys are unified together, you can overcome a lot more.
Okay, y'all. This has been so good and so powerful. I cannot believe this community. And these are some of my squad. They're some of my friends. And don't be discouraged if you don't have that yet. Don't be discouraged if you don't have that best friend who you see your friend has. They have their best friend and you're like, oh, I wish I had that friend that I could call anytime. I wish I had that friend, blah, 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 blah. It's coming. Maybe you have a really best friend, but they don't know Jesus. I'm believing that they come to know Jesus. Stay friends with them, but I'm also believing that you'll be surrounded with a community of believers that are gonna be there for you when you're at your lowest. And I want to let you know a couple of announcements real quick. Okay, you know what? I need to get my burrito blanket for this because this is a moment. Because I want you to take me so seriously, and I think you'll take me seriously with my burrito blanket on. So, want to let you know that the ways that you can get connected, okay? Every Sunday, we have our campus gatherings back, y'all. Okay, we're gonna keep these videos coming, so make sure you stay tuned and watch every single week. But we also have our White Rock location, so if you're in the Dallas area, make sure you come and you sit with us. We're all sitting together, okay? So come and be a part. Follow us on Instagram at Shoreline City Youth, okay? Last plug is text at YTHSC to the number 81010. All of it's gonna be on the screen right now because we want you to be in the know about everything we're doing, and we love you so much. Hey, this is your time. Your time is now. 2021 is your year. Squad up. Us, me, you, together. We're about to take on the world, and we love you so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.